Oh man, guys, I tried to talk my friend out of playing Russian roulette.
Wow, what happened?
It went one ear out the other.
Oh my
God. Oh,
Didn't
jeez.
mean that.
Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, dude.
Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. We're here every week. A new show drops on Friday, and we're anywhere you can find your podcast. And we got a great show for you today. We have the Dean of the Long Island Clown College. We have Mike Grief.
Waka waka. How you doing? I'm hearing somebody farting over there. Who's farting? Come on.
And then we have the producer, the highest paid guy in the show, Craig Mitchell.
It is an honor and a pleasure. Sorry, Taco Bell. I had
And then we have, I'm John Ferrantino, and I have a good friend of mine that we spent many years as the Coors Light Comedy Commandos. The few, the proud, the weird.
The weird.
That was our logo. And
Really?
I have our friend, we were on the back cover of Rolling Stone magazine, man.
Did you guys carry guns?
When Carson and Letterman were on the front.
We were on the back cover.
And what is your friend's name, John?
I'm getting to that. His name is David Naster.
Hey, David, welcome back. Friend of the show.
By the way, you guys, I just saw that picture of Tommy Chong. When he goes to the airport, under his eyes, do they charge him for extra baggage?
Wow.
Oh.
Hope he's not listening.
You know he gets a fucking anal search every time he goes to the airport, though. They're checking every cavity they can.
Which airport is that? Can you tell him, give me the direction?
Yeah. It's Craig Mitchell fucking
That's the gay bell, by the way.
The gay bell.
Said about the thing, because I have an absolutely great story that happened at the men's juvenile detention center having to do with that when we get to that part of this podcast.
This sounds fun already.
The men's juvenile. So
the men's juvenile. Oh, it's juvenile.
Wouldn't it just be the boys' jail?
Well, they called it the male juvenile detention center.
Male. Okay, male is better because you said men's. I'm like men's, boys. It's like what are they there? Legally, there's a difference. Ask Craig; he'll tell you.
The men's juvenile. It seems like an oxymoron, but okay.
Yeah, you guys.
Okay, so we had a big week in sports for my poor Jet team. Aaron Rodgers, $56 million, 76. He gave back $20 million to the team. He was going to be the great savior for the season. He was all in. Gave back his money.
He still made like $9 million a minute that he played, didn't he?
So anyway, he was in 4 plays and tore his Achilles.
He didn't tear it. He snapped it.
Yeah,
he severed it.
So yeah, and they say it happened because of AstroTurf.
I don't know, man. It looked like a self-inflicted wound to me.
You don't even know what sports are.
Yeah, I know. To me, sports is like a freaking bat with spikes on it, and you go out and you just try to beat the guy next to you. You know, that's a sport.
I disagree. John, sports is his favorite Huey Lewis album.
There you go.
Guys, I don't understand this. You know, they're talking about Aaron Rodgers. The backup quarterback came in and saved the day and won the game. That's the story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
Aaron Rodgers having bad luck. It's just another day.
So
the guy's got bad luck, man. He's just got bad luck. That's all there is to it.
Well, he does host Jeopardy, so there's that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he just said all the right things in New York. Joe Namath offered to take his jersey out of retirement and give him number 12. And he said, no, you're Broadway Joe. That number is synonymous with the Super Bowl. I'll wear my number from college. And like our friend Larry Ambrose said, he wore number 8, which is exactly how many minutes he played. So, yeah, that was that. And then the other big news is that guy who got captured.
The guy in Pennsylvania. Yeah. He was on the loose for 2 weeks. Did you see the video of how he escaped? This guy was American Ninja Warrior or something like that.
That was awesome. I'm sorry, that was
awesome. Up a freaking wall like Spider-Man. And
he crabbed his way up the wall, they said.
There was actually an episode of Batman in 1966 where they did that.
I know. Well, that was funny. I used to love when they climb up the wall and like celebrities would come out the window. Hey, what are you doing here, Batman?
The crazy part about that guy is they said he escaped in the jungle somewhere for like 30 days in South America.
The jungles of Pennsylvania.
No. So they go, he's like, the only way they got him is with a thermo camera from a helicopter. And they said even when they knew where he was crawling into the underbrush like a roach.
Well, let me ask you this. How lax are people in Pennsylvania? They knew this guy was in this certain area, a small area. And yet, they live there. Some guy left his keys in a van. The guy stole the van. Another guy had his rifle leaning up on the garage. The guy stole this. That's like somebody stealing your guard dog. You steal somebody's rifle. I mean, come on. There's a murderer roaming around. I'm just going to leave I'm just going to leave my rifle sitting over here unguarded.
Yeah, well, why not just put a sign on your car? The keys are in it.
Yeah,
I know. And people are packing them lunches and stuff. Okay, maybe they weren't.
Leaving snacks, like leaving Halloween bowls of candy on the stoop for him.
Remember that? Those people, when you trick or treat, they leave a whole bowl of candy. And they go, take one.
Yeah, kids on their honor.
Kids just take the whole bowl and dump it in their bag and move on.
Yeah, take one bowl. That's what it means. Take one bowl.
I know. Please give me a break. Listen, I mean,
and people used to put razor blades in apples, right?
Listen, I said I'm sorry, John.
And then razor blades got so expensive.
No. So
what?
That's when men would go out trick or treating to get some free razors. Come on, man, give me an apple, will you?
I mean, just that whole concept of trick or treat, where your kid can go door to door and get whatever they want. Can you imagine, guys, if we could do that, if we can go door to door and go whatever we want, we'd go to one door, smoke a cigarette, and go home.
Or how about the fact that you bring up your kids telling them, don't ever take candy from a stranger?
Yeah, and then you send them out. Then you send them out on
and
Halloween.
You send them to every stranger's house.
You walk them out and wait in the driveway for them. Yeah, go ahead. It's okay now.
I don't know. I was never big on Halloween. Honestly, in the projects where I grew up, we'd let the other kids go trick or treating, and then we would just steal their candy.
That's very sweet, Mike.
I'm not going to do the work, but I'm going to reap the benefits.
And I'm proud to be an American.
It's the American way.
Oh my God.
I can't believe Halloween's coming up. I can't believe that already.
I'm killing the first person who offers me a pumpkin anything. I hate pumpkin.
It's already
I hate pumpkin. I can't stand that. Oh, pumpkin's coffee is back. Shut up.
That's what I'm drinking, guys. Pumpkin.
Oh my God.
Craig, kick him out of the room, Craig. Kick him out.
Pumpkin coffee is
I don't know. Have you ever tried? Have you ever don't knock pumpkin spice condoms?
I hate anything pumpkin.
Listen, but this coffee is seedless. This is pumpkin.
Now that's watermelons, not pumpkins.
Oh man!
Oh man!
A lull. There's a lull there. Anytime you do
no,
there's never a lull. I have some 54 hilarious facts that you will never guess.
Well, why don't we save those? Why don't we talk to David about his recent trip to Costa Rica?
Yes.
We'll do those. We can do those right after we hear about.
We will talk to David as soon as you hear me go. We're going right to the questions.
Yeah. Yes. I joined you for this podcast.
So, David, what have you been doing lately?
He said casually, as if that was,
That wasn't too much of a setup, was it?
Well, gents, I think I may have teased you on the last podcast, but I just got back from a clown mission because I know how much comics love clowns. I went on a clown mission with Patch Adams, the Patch Adams, the guy the movie was about. We went down with 26 other clowns, and we went to.
Did you all go in one car?
Yeah. Finally, guys.
Ring the bell. That was a good one, John.
I said that down there. They had a bus for us to go to these places. I said, "What? No car?" And they looked at me. They looked at me like a comic would look at another one with a hack line. They just went.
Is that like a clown minion? I mean, what do you have? Like a certain number of clowns to make up like a gang?
So yeah. Well, I don't know how many do. We just went down there and we went to we went to not so funny places. Basically, we went to a couple centers where they're mentally and physically. You guys are going to have a blast with this. Mentally and physically disabled people, kids and
Right.
adults.
Right.
We went to the most knocked out homeless shelter you've ever seen, where they had a full music studio. They asked the homeless people, "What would you like for a shelter?" They had computer programming in there. They had how to write code. They had a whole music studio they could do. They have dentist for them. They teach
But
them how
meanwhile, they're homeless. So what good are these skills if you're freaking homeless?
but they're teaching them not to be homeless anymore.
Ah, I see.
Of course, they had a yoga studio, and I went into the yoga studio. And guys, here's what's amazing: the shit.
Oh, here comes the fart machine.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No, but John, without the fart machine, it is unbelievable the shit you get away with when you do this.
The clown nose.
He's wearing a red nose, ladies.
Brothers, my boys, you put this red nose on, and that gives you permission to get away with anything.
I'm
You
gonna
can
put
you
one
can
on
get
my my Johnson
Yeah, you get away with
and
anything.
see what I can get away with.
So that's right, John. We went into the yoga studio. They're doing the downward dog. Oh man.
All right, you got to do that close to the mic. All right, so ever since I've known David, he has this little rubber fart machine, and it's like his trademark bit. He used to sell them after the shows, but you don't even want to be on an elevator with him on a cruise line with a bunch of passengers, and he's in the back doing this fart machine thing.
Yeah, the Master Blaster. Yeah, I make them. So anyway, yeah. But this homeless shelter was incredible. What was I going to say? Yeah, anything you can imagine that they have for these people, they teach them how to be self-reliant. America could really take a lesson from them. So we go on all these clowns. We just go in there and, man, you get that red nose on, boys, you can just cause havoc. And John, I got my drumsticks, and I'm playing everything. I'm playing.
I saw you playing them on like prison bars.
No, I did. I did
Yeah.
play them at the prison bars. Of
Oh,
course
my
I
So
did.
also, let me give you a little background. David studied percussion in college. He's a percussionist, really, by trade, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and some self-taught, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually studied psychology in college, and then I figured I'd rather make fun of people than help them. That's why I became a comedian.
And I thought my dad was pissed, but I was studying whatever when I decided to become a comic. Imagine telling your dad, "I'm going to study percussion." I'm sure he was very happy,
And then be a clown.
and then become a clown.
But he can turn the beat around.
Yeah.
But
you
that's
go.
how you present it. You go, I'm a percussionist, and your father goes, "Well, where does that lead to?" You go, "Clown."
Well,
It's
so,
like very
no, that's very
confident.
close. That's
Just
very close to Mike.
confidently.
That's very close to Mike because I think you were a concussionist, weren't you?
Concussionist, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're with a bunch of clowns and you're going to prisons. Let me ask you, did you count your clowns every time you left one of these places?
Mike. When
Clown
we go,
count.
here's the fun part. When we first went into a women's prison,
Right.
and you go in the prison, you got to bring your passport, and you show them your passport. They collect the passports in case you don't come out. They want to know who doesn't come out, and then they want to make sure if you cause
That's like my
trouble.
fantasy is like going in entertaining a women's prison and not coming out.
But I'm telling you what, boys, there were some hotties in there, and there were some baddies in there, and
Yeah.
the baddies were with the hotties. And what was fun because they don't speak English is I would sneak up behind and go, psst, and they'd turn around, look at me and go, "I think she's hot too." They didn't know. And there was one area where all the real rough ones were there. They're rough looking, man. They really. And so I just walked
That's
over there
Babette.
because Johnny, you know me. I'm just balls out, man. I got that red nose on, and fuck it, I'm going in. So I go sit by them, and they're looking at me like, "What the fuck you doing here?" And I take out and I roll an imaginary huge joint, and I start smoking it, and I'm passing it around. They passed it around the whole group like,
Nice. Nice.
Just in case.
That's
Just
the
in case.
beautiful thing about a women's prison. I haven't seen a man so long. It's like friggin' I go in there and I'm like stud. I'm John Stamos.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, most of them aren't interested in you. You play on the wrong team.
Oh, okay.
They
No, they're just munching to get along. Yeah.
Paul Provenza told me once he was at had to perform at a prison once, and there was prison bars across the stage because it was like really tough prison. And he said, and he walked out, and they just started whistling at him, and and all this stuff. And he said, he goes, I really freaked out for the first time. And he goes, I just walked to the microphone and I went, Jesus Christ, it's hot in here. Can somebody open a window or a door? And the place went insane. And he goes, and from that point on, I had him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you have to remember, we go in clowning to do this stuff. They know we're going to be there. They know we're coming. They've had this before. And so we just went in and just go crazy with them, and have fun with them. Just play with them.
Is this just something you guys do, or is it do they pay you to come in, or is it just a thing you guys just take it upon yourself to go in and bring some cheer into the lives of people who are struggling and suffering?
That's exactly, Mike, you nailed it, man. I paid to go on the clown trip. You pay to bring joy to people who are suffering.
I hear that, brother. I would.
And the great thing about that is you make this incredible connection with people and look in their eyes and they look at you and you smile and laugh. I mean, one thing we had to remember is, we're having fun going crazy, doing crazy things with these women, having fun with them and selling. And, we're all leaving going, they're going right back to their lockdown facility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not. So you bring some kind of joy. But the best thing I'm getting to, so we go to the juvenile detention center for the boys. These are 18 and under. And we go in there and you first of all have to give them your passport. They pat you down. You go into a room and they pat you down. One for the women, one for the men. And so I start to walk in with the woman and she goes, no. And I said, but I just took a Viagra. You can take your time and pat me down as long as you want. Of course, the other guy clowns are laughing their ass off. She didn't understand a word I said, or so I thought, because I told the group that afterwards. And one Spanish woman said, "Oh no, Viagra in Spanish is Viagra." So then I go into the room with the guy, and he's got his hands and he's moving right up towards my butt. I got him, man. I got him. He backed off real quick, and then I showed him and started laughing. So again, I wouldn't dare do that at an airport. You got a clown nose on. They just go, "Oh, he's a clown. He's just fucking around." Yeah, so you get away with some great stuff.
That's it. That's why, what was it? John Wayne Gacy dressed up like a clown, because it's like, I don't know.
It's a nice comparison, Mike.
That was tight.
You're talking about bringing joy to the world, and you bring up a serial killer.
You're saying that John Wayne Gacy didn't bring joy to the world? No.
That's why clowns hate guys like you, because you bring up that shit.
So David, tell us about Patch Adams. By the way, folks, if you want to see what Patch Adams on our thumbnail, there's a picture of David and Patch. I believe they're making faces. So you'll see. Tell us about Patch.
If you want to get your picture taken with Patch, you got to do one of three things. You got to do this. You got to get your
pull your cheeks out. Yeah.
You got to get an index finger and put it way up your nose.
That's easy.
Okay. And the other one is you got to moon the camera. And I witnessed it. And that's the only reason, Patch, that's the only way you can get your picture taken with Patch. And he does it for this reason. He told me, he said, people want a picture with me because they know of me. He said, I want to give them a picture they can look at a week or two later. And they look at it and go, I can't believe I did that. And it brings them happiness and joy. That's why he does that way. But he asked this, I was at the one place and he asked this woman, Patch just pulls down his pants and moons the camera. He's 60, guys, he's 6'5" and he's 78 years old. And he bends over and he has the woman do it and she freaks out and runs off. No, I'm not doing that. And she came back and another picture. He goes, no. That's the only way I'll take a picture with you. The guy is committed to what he does.
How did you meet him?
I met Patch when I wrote my first book, John. When I started, You Just Have to Laugh. And I sent Patch. Patch Adams is not on a computer, and he does own a smartphone. He only has a flip phone. You can only communicate him by letter. He'll write you back. I wrote him a letter and said, Patch, I have a book about humor. Can you please endorse the book? I'd like your endorsement. He said, I can't endorse a book without reading it. So I sent it back and he said, and I don't have time to read your book right now. I'm too busy. So I wrote it back again and said, Patch, can you put this in the endorsement? If I was thinking about reading a book, I would read David Naster's book.
Now, just some background out for people who don't know. Patch Adams, he's a doctor. He's a doctor, right?
He's a doctor. The movie, Patch hates the movie. And he'll publicly tell everybody.
How can you hate anything with Robin Williams in it?
He hated the movie because they made stuff up and they didn't portray him accurately. That's what Patch is mad about. They
Right.
did not portray.
Wait,
You
wait.
guys-
Are you trying to say
Hollywood made something up?
Hollywood made something up? Come on, man. I'm supposed to believe that?
And,
What?
and you have to remember, and so John, that's how I met Patch. And then I wrote him another letter and said I'd like to interview for my You Just Have to Laugh series. And I went up to his house in Arlington, Virginia, and talked to him for an hour. Patch Adams is committed to being a clown. He was in and out of mental institutions till he was 8 years old because he was freaked out about being bullied, and his father was killed. Patch Adams does not like men. He's not gay, but he doesn't like men because they're mean. He said all the problems in the world are caused by men. And he said women should run the world. I mean, he believes that. And Patch Adams basically is a hippie. Is a hippie who is a doctor that wants to go help people and never charged anybody a dime for any work he's ever done for people. And he wants to build a hospital to do that. That's just Patch. That's the way he is. And they didn't, so much as that movie stuff, like, his girlfriend got killed. That never happened in real life. None of that stuff. So, Patch is also smart enough to know, hey, guys, I don't care for the movie, but it did give me name recognition.
Right.
So he could go out and make $20,000 a speaker.
Well, I agree with him, man. That women should rule the world, man. I'll tell you what, this food would be better. That's for sure. Yeah. No, but I honestly, I think that it should. It's like, aggressive men have done nothing but fuck the world up. I think it's time for women to take over and lead all the countries. And I guarantee they'd come up with solutions to most of the problems of the world. Somehow, if they were not only allowed to talk, negotiate, do whatever, and not be stopped by, testosterone driven politic bullshit,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, buddy, we could put a nose on you and come on a clown mission, buddy. You'd love it. I tell you what, you guys, and John, me, you've seen me perform in hardcore places and do that. You go up with somebody who's especially mentally disabled, you put that nose on and start doing stuff, and I'm playing drums, and man, there's a moment there, gentlemen, where you connect with them and they're having fun, and you are talking soul to soul and heart to heart, and it's just absolutely incredible. That feeling is nothing like I've ever gotten on stage before as a comedian. It's great making people laugh, but you're talking about a human soul on soul heart connection, and I'll tell you what, gentlemen, that's addictive.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing better than like somebody who that really needs it. It's like when I'm doing stand up, and that person that would come up to you after a show and say, you don't know how much I needed to laugh, because they were really in bad shape when they got there. And it's like this relief valve, well, laugh or make them happy. But like you said, mentally disabled people too, especially, there's some kind of pure love there. Yeah. When you make them smile and you make them happy, it makes you just feel like, oh my God, wow. You're right. You can't get that high on drugs.
It's a human connection that happens with somebody. And when you go to these places, you guys, and they tell you, that person's, here's a great story. Patch, there's a guy that's in a wheelchair that's severely autistic and handicapped, and Patch is rubbing him and couldn't get him finally got him to stand up. And Patch is talking later and said, man, we got him. He just wouldn't open his eyes, but I think I connected to him. And me and another guy, another clown, looked at each other and laughed and go, well, shit, we got him to open his eyes. We didn't tell him that, but and these are doctors from other doctors. There's one from India, a woman from India, from Germany, from Peru, and they all come to learn how to connect with people. And so I was ready to do it, man. It was just a hoot. I just had a great time laughing, and we go down this one really poor street, and I got my drumsticks, and I'm playing the walls, and I'm playing everything, playing Santana's beat and singing and doing that, because you go fucking nuts and nobody cares because I got the red nose on, and they're laughing, and I go banging on this door.
I'm gonna remember that next time I go on one of my sprees. I'm just gonna wear a red nose.
What, brother?
It'll just let me do what I want.
Just put the nose on, and all of a sudden this door opens and a guy's standing there in his underwear, and I woke him up.
So funny.
So that's it. I mean, it's just and now they want me to go. And here's the sick comic in me, the funny comic in me, because they told me they'd like for me to go to Morocco. They're going to Morocco in a month, and we go from Casablanca to Marrakesh. And they said, and we want to go because they just had an earthquake there and we could bring relief. And the first thing I said, they had an earthquake. Great. More shit to play. You know,
Yeah.
none of them
It's a
laughed.
bad earthquake too.
It was a bad earthquake.
That was the one in Morocco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Marrakesh.
Marrakesh.
yeah. So I may go over there. They want me to go, so I think I'm gonna go over there and do some more, man.
Nice.
It's addictive. It's a blast and it's fun. Everyone should do it.
Very
I like
cool.
to see you guys, all you three guys, with a red nose on and going into a senior center or going to an area. Over there, we're going to go into hospice. You're going to go in there and you're with people and connecting with people and trying to bring some joy and just being with them while they're dying. And it's a hoot, man. I know it's
you want to see me with a red nose? Give me a bottle of vodka in 20 minutes.
okay.
Yeah. Give me a bottle of vodka, then go to the phone and dial 9-1 and just wait about 10 minutes. 9-1 and wait about 10 minutes because I'll be tearing this fucking place apart.
It's got to be tough. I mean, to go in places like that, and you see it, and I don't know. There's a dichotomy there where you want people to laugh, you want them to feel good, but at the same time, you're seeing real life stuff. It's they call stuff like that God's work. It really is.
Craig, what's interesting about that? When we go in to do that about clowning, what I realize is it was a comic, you're going for the laugh. Okay.
Right.
When you go in to connect with people, you're not going with the laugh. You're just kind of bringing them some joy, some silliness. Yeah. That nose gives you permission to be silly and gives you permission to be chaotic. In other words, because me, Johnny knows this, I dress crazy all the time anyway. So they would call that clowny. And if I go into a place and start doing that, they go, this guy's nuts. He's a madman. You put the red nose on, they go, oh, he's a clown. Okay. It's amazing what a red nose, the license that it gives you.
It seems to be amazing too is what a clown, or even take like Charlie Chaplin when he did the little tramp and all that.
Yeah.
The emotions that you can evoke. And for some reason, I think a clown, those type of characters, they seem to evoke emotions like deep sentimental emotion, not only laughing, but there is something really tightly connected to like sad. I don't know if it's sadness or hurt, something like that. It's really, really tied together because it's so easy. Like I'd watch, like I said, a clown do some sad stuff, and you can't help but like go, oh my God, your heart's breaking. You don't. It's just a little sketch, but it's like it breaks your heart, just like Charlie Chaplin.
It's interesting, Mike, because when you go do that stuff, as a comic, you can get pretty cold and callous.
Yeah.
Doing that.
I've actually killed a guy from the stage, but no, let's.
And this gets us to, this is a whole different thing. And I want to get that just come out right now, just a connection with people. It was just great. I'm a sentimental fool, man.
I remember I've done a few times. Remember Adam Ace? He was a comedian. And we went to a couple of hospitals, kids' hospitals.
Yeah.
And we just walked around and he just did goofy stuff. And I was doing magic for the kids. And it was really cool. It was really pretty special.
John, I want to ask you, man, you said that. What did that bring out in you when you did a magic trick and saw that kid laugh? What did that do to you?
Yeah, it's an amazing. What is even more amazing was when I was working on the SS Norway at Christmas time. Elvie was my interpreter, and she's been on our show.
Elvie Rose.
And we went to an orphanage, and I did a magic show, and then we gave them out presents.
But did you take an orphan with you home?
But the typical Norwegian
home day.
The typical
they
Norwegian,
leave them on the stoop. It's like Halloween, the candy. Take an orphan home. Take an orphan home with you, John.
The typical Norwegian thing. Of course, they ran out of presents, and kids were crying and stuff.
Do you remember what country that was in? What Spanish?
It was in Mexico.
Mexico. Okay.
And it was really great. And Elvie and I, she sang some Christmas songs in Spanish, and then she stood there and she basically was my interpreter, and we had a blast.
It's a blast.
It was really amazing. And these kids had never seen magic before.
Oh, wow.
So it was like they really thought I was like a real magician. You know what I mean? Like they thought I had magic powers.
Either
I
that or they
think.
thought you were like a demon. Like,
Yeah,
El
really.
Diablo, El Diablo.
So LV was your translator. So how do you say danger, spooky stuff inside in Spanish?
She said it. I don't know. She knew everything.
Poco Dangeroso.
Dangeroso, spoke stuff. Encanto.
So John, you had those 40 questions? No.
Yeah, is it time? Enough of this sentimental bullshit, John.
It's crazy. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
What charity work have you done, Mike?
Fucking anytime I go out, it's like charity that I don't fucking kill somebody. Let me tell you, especially
That's
these
true.
days.
He spares
I
lives,
was.
John.
You want to hear something? Here's something. Here's charity. I was at the gym yesterday,
Here's your charity.
and I mind my own business at the gym. I don't talk that way, but I'm listening to that you can't help but hear them. This guy's telling this girl, he goes, "Yeah, I think I got COVID." And he's not wearing a mask. He goes, "I think I got COVID." He goes, "Yeah, I got a test." He's in the gym. He's talking to a person who doesn't have a mask on either. I got a mask. I put a mask on because otherwise, I mean, I would have been beating the shit out of him. But charity is like, I wanted to go and I wanted to just fucking stove his head in, but I didn't. That's my charity.
Nice. I'll tell you, I got a letter in the mail today. I got a letter in the mail yesterday from the San Fernando mission, and it says for $21, for a donation of $21.64, you can feed you can provide 8 families with Thanksgiving dinner. Right. So I was going to write a check, and then I thought, wait a minute. So I wrote them a letter and said, where the fuck are you buying 8 turkeys for $21.64? I hope they answer me.
Come on, Craig. I knew it was a joke the second he said I was going to write a check. Come on.
You know, guys, it's interesting.
I was gonna write a check, but suddenly I got
I was gonna actually pay in pennies, and then I said, wait a minute.
You know, what's interesting about all this when you talk about clowning, especially in comics, because you know the beauty about hanging out with comics is we're so marvelously irreverent about stuff, and we can laugh about that. But Patch took 5 serious PTSD vets on a clown trip to Guatemala. These guys, they said, oh, what the hell, we'll play along. And these guys are just dressed as the goofiest guys. And after 7 days, they came back, and their attitude was, what PTSD are you talking about? Because they made those connections with people. They made those connections with people, and now they want to do that. So it's just really cool stuff. That's all. Thanks for letting me talk about it, because I don't know how many times you guys talk about stuff from the heart here, but man, it's great stuff to do that. I want to take all you guys on a clown mission and then record it and play it.
Be a special.
Well, we are the Long Island Clown College, so it kind of fits.
That's it. That's the group, the Long Island Clown College.
Hey, John, when you were in Mexico and you took out the hatchet right before you put it on the head, what were the kids' reaction?
I didn't do that, but I did do the severed hand.
Did you really?
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh!"
Where's the bunny? Where's the bunny? They saw the bunny and it disappeared, and they cried because they were going to eat the bunny.
I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a fairy story.
Please.
So, do you remember? Have you ever seen those? It's called Rocky Raccoon. It's got a spring in it.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's basically Jeff Justice.
We're too young.
Jeff Justice used to do this, and it's a comedy act. It's a big spring with like a raccoon skin on it and a tail, and when you hold it in your hand, and you can manipulate the spring, and it looks like it's eating or whatever.
Okay.
And it looks really real. It looks really real. If it's done properly, it's pretty amazing. So magicians used to produce them so that you wouldn't have to use a real animal. You could travel with it and whatever. So years ago, I got out of college and I was in the Bronx, and they said to me, you do magic? Well, we're going to do a big Christmas party for all the underprivileged kids in the Bronx. Do you want to do it? We're going to set up a stage and everything. And I go, yeah, sure. Put me down. So I get there, and there had to be 200 kids sitting there, right? And I take the lighter fluid and I put it in the thing. I throw the match in. This is like the second trick I do.
Right.
And flame goes up, and I reach inside and I pull out this Rocky Raccoon thing. and a kid in the front row yells out, "It's a fucking rat!" And they all ran. They all ran. They all ran out of there.
Oh man,
It was horrifying.
it's the Bronx, man.
no
What did you
crowd.
expect?
It was no crowd. It was like watching Mary Wong at Washington D.C.
Oh my god.
The fucking
Which-
rat.
Which no one would get that other than David.
You're expecting Bronx kids to fucking know what a raccoon or something. No, the first fucking animal
That
they
kid-
oh,
it was a
shit, it's
little kid.
rat.
It was a little kid. No, it wasn't a rat. It's a fucking rat.
It's a fucking rat.
John, how
Oh.
old was the kid? John, about how old was the kid? What'd you
Like
guess?
5.
Actually, that was a nun.
And they all ran away and they wouldn't come back. And that was the end of my part of the show.
He didn't come back.
No, they were afraid of me. I was like the rat man, I guess.
Rat Man. And that's how John got the nickname Rat Man.
That's
So
sick. I
funny.
never heard that one.
Oh god.
So
man.
funny.
I
Okay.
don't magic. I've always I don't know. You know, some people want to figure out how the trick works. I never do. I just want to be entertained. I just want to watch the magic. I don't want to know how it works. You know, I don't want to try to figure it out. I just want to sit there and fucking be amazed.
Have you that reminds me there was Jerry Seinfeld did that bit with the core about magicians where he
Oh
goes,
yeah.
here's a quarter, now it's gone. You're an idiot.
I know.
I brought the
Well, these
quarter back.
I don't have quarters. I don't know. I've never seen a quarter coming out of the
You're an idiot. Now here's a quarter back. You're a bigger idiot.
Well, have you guys have seen that Patton Oswalt bit about the magician?
Oh, sure. No, we've never seen that.
Oh, come on,
talking
you
about
must
you?
have.
he
Yeah,
talking about
it's
you?
about me.
The one you say, yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't
so-
heard it. Go ahead, John. I haven't heard it.
Well, you got to look it up. I mean, basically, we did this gig somewhere, and it's just funny the way he tells the story. He goes, "So I go up." He goes, "I go up." Dick. He goes, "I go up there." Dick, Lorraine Bobbitt, boom, good night. He goes, "And they hate me." Right? And there's a guy in the back room going, "What's this little lesbian doing on that stage?" And he goes, he goes, and then the magician, he goes, "And let me tell you, in the 80s, magicians ruled the roost." He goes, "They ruled the roost." And we get to the gig, and basically, I'm not doing it justice. You really got to hear it. He goes, basically, the club owner says, the bouncer goes, "The club owner told me that you, the opening act, you're only getting 20. And I was supposed to be getting 25. Then he looks at the magician, he goes, "And you're supposed to be getting 100, but you're only getting 95. He goes, "You would think for $5." He goes, 20 games of Galactia. The magician wouldn't have brought down the wrath of God. He looks at this guy and goes, "What the fuck are you telling me? That I'm only getting $5 less?" And he goes, and he was a really skilled magician. And now he's on stage going like this. "Here's the rope. Fuck you."
Now, is this a true story, John? Is this
True
you?
story.
Did
Oh,
you
you
do
guys,
that?
you guys, I got
The rope, fuck you.
He goes, "Here's the rope. It's 2 pieces. Now it's
Yeah.
1. Fuck yourself."
Spooky stuff up your ass, Scott.
John and I are doing a show, Coors Light Comedy Commandos, I think it was, in Lincoln, Nebraska. And John's on stage in front of me doing the show. And let's just say it's not going over real well. And John just looks over at me and goes, "How do you live here? How do you make these people laugh, Master?"
I can't imagine John's act never going over, man. It's
Oh,
legendary.
God. Some of these colleges, man.
Well, colleges, yeah, okay, that's different.
You know,
Okay,
that's the only place I ever fucking went into the dumps was fucking college gigs.
Well, it's funny. We used to work with, in the Comedies Commando, there was this black comedy team, which they've all done pretty well.
Oh shit, man!
Most brothers.
Ollie Leroy. He's written for Chris Rock, got Emmys and directed movies.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are 3 black guys, and they call themselves the Mary Wong comedy team. So they thought they were getting a Chinese lady. And these 3 black guys walk in. And to explain what their act is now, it sounds racist, but it isn't. It was like the reverse of racism, right?
Yeah.
You know,
It
so
was.
like all of a sudden, so the one guy would come out like this, and he would hold his shirt out like he had big boobs, and he goes, "I am a poor white woman caught in the wrong part of town. I hope two stereotypical Negro types don't come and try to touch my big breastises." And the other two guys would come out with shower caps on and trench coats, and they go like this, "Funky, funky Broadway." And they'd walk up to her, and then she would like make like she took off her bra, and she would do this nunchuck move, and then all of a sudden the two black guys would look at each other and they go, "Mammy, mammy, feet don't fail me now," and they'd run off stage, right? And I mean, in New York at Caroline's, they would just rock the place or any place. But we were in George Washington University, a totally black college.
Mm-hmm.
And they went on first, and they walked the entire room, but about 8 people.
Yeah.
They just didn't get it. They just didn't
No,
get
and
that
if they did get it, they didn't like it. It was because it was, there's a different sense of humor, different sensibilities. It's,
I've seen them kill. I mean, Dave, you've seen it. I mean,
well, I did a show at I did a show at Bowie State, Maryland, a comedy show, all black college. I didn't know that till I got there.
Right.
And so I did the show, and I'm up there doing the show, some percussion and doing that, and they were kind of with me. And then I went on, and then they start laughing at me and heckling me, and I got pissed at them. And I said, "I can't believe it. I can't believe you guys doing this. It took me a rental car and 2 airplanes to get here, and you guys are treating me this." One guy yells out, "White boy gonna cry now?"
They're real sympathetic for you.
So I got pissed at him and went right at him, and they started laughing. Well, Ali, who was in Mary Wong, he goes, Dave, you never performed in front of a black audience before, have you, man?" He goes, "No." He said, "Man, they want to see what you got."
Yeah,
That's
man.
Right.
I'm from the projects. That's what we do. We rank, man. We rank each other out.
So this guy Ali, right? He was like kind of the bigger, menacing looking one. And then I remember we saw him do this. You were with me. We saw him do this in Chicago the first time. And all of a sudden he goes like this: "It's hand puppet time." I said, "It's hand puppet time. I'm going to turn my back. When I turn around, you best be up in your puppets." And people in the audience are like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And then the other two guys off mic go, "This bit sucks, man." And the other guy goes, "I know, but it's the only bit he's written in 4 years." He goes, "Why do we got to do this?" And the other guy goes, I'm not going to say the word. He goes, "I knew we should have gone straight to the N-word move to Mayberry." So then he turns around, he goes like this. He's got a little puppet on his hand, like a kid's puppet. And he goes, "It's hand puppet time." And then he turns around, he goes, "Maybe you didn't hear me. When I turn back around, you best be up in your puppets. I don't want to." And people are putting like gloves on and scarves. And he goes like this: "And if I see one scarf or one glove on any hand, serious shit's going to be paid. Hand puppet time." You turn around, and then all of a sudden, nobody has any puppets. He takes a gun out of his pocket and he holds it on the puppet, and the puppet starts shaking. He's going, I'm sorry, but they're not up in their puppets." Right? It's just a stupid thing. Then he shoots himself in the hand. But they were really funny, man. They were really.
Well, John Schuler booked me at a club that was an all-black club, and I was very, very young and extremely naive. And I didn't care. And I went up and I started to do really well until, I was young. I mean, maybe a year and a half doing comedy. And I was still at the point where you would ask questions to qualify your next bit, like, "Anybody like TV?" That kind of shit, right? And so I'm doing okay. And I go, "Hey, who here plays hockey?" And I lost. Then they started throwing stuff at me.
That's funny.
They thought I was making fun of them. I just didn't know.
They, that Craig, that reminds me. So after Ali told me that, I do another college, West Virginia State, and so I walk in there. I didn't know, again, an entire black audience, and I walk in there, and for 30 minutes, I'm doing nothing but crazy off the wall shit. I'm just running around improvising, doing all this stuff. And after 30 minutes, this cute black girl goes, "Hey, homie, how come you don't tell no jokes?" And I stopped and said, "Because you know, and I know I shouldn't be here."
Wow.
And John, I did my famous Wide World of Sports routine and got the hell out of here. And I said to the guy, I said, sorry, that's only 35 minutes.
You're not going to do that bit, are you, Dave?
No. I can't get up on the stool anymore, man.
No, remember that when I said that to you?
We talked about
David
this.
has this bit, right, that he closed with. It's like he does the whole Wide World of Sports, like the agony of defeat, the whole thing. It's hysterical. So I had to go on after him, right? And I don't even remember.
No, you didn't have to, John. You insisted because you told Denny, well, I'm on television now. I should go on after that.
Oh, I am better. I am
Wait,
better
and then
than
right
you
before,
people.
and then right before I walk on, I go to David. You're not going to end with that Wide World of Sports thing, are you?
And I
I knew I couldn't follow it.
You know what I said to you? I go, you want me to take a dive? You want me to take a dive?
Like a Rocky movie.
Okay, so David and I were on.
I did the bit.
Yeah, David and I were on a ship once with LV Rose, and we walked out on stage. I walked out on stage, and the audience was just horrible. So I started doing my entire act like Rodney Dangerfield. Do you remember this?
Yeah, to LV and I off to the side.
Yeah. And I'm going like this. I'm going, hey, you take this piece of the rope and you cut it, hey, and I'm doing this whole thing, and they're dying, but they're the only two laughing. And I walk off stage, and the cruise director threw me into a wall. He goes, "What the fuck you doing, Bubba?" And I had to try to make him laugh any way I could. You don't play to LV and David.
I remember, and he said, "You do that again." I remember Denny was pissed.
He was drunk.
And he said, if you do that again, I'll fire you. And I remember you looking at him going, you got to do what you got to do, man. I mean, you handled that really cool because you didn't get in his face. You just went, you got to do what you got to do.
See, John doesn't care about it. John will be like, he don't care, but you turn around, he's going to sink an axe into your back.
Yeah. So, you were talking about coming out in this thing. I had this gig once, right? This is kind of a very funny story. So I had just started working with Crosby, Stills and Nash, and I'm doing really well, and we get this 1,500 seat theater in Philadelphia. And I've been working like now 5,000 and 6,000 seat theaters, hockey arenas and stuff. And the show's going really, really well. So we get to Philadelphia, which is close to New York. So I have 6 comps per show. I invite my friends. My ex-wife Margie comes, right? And I can't wait to go out. It's like, this is a 1,500 seat movie theater. I'm going to rock this place, right? So anyway, the show's about to start, and the local DJ comes out and goes, "Hey, you like Crosby, Stills and Nash?" And they go, "Ah." He goes, "All right, here's your comedian." He just walks off.
You like Crosby, Stills and Nash? Well, you
But
didn't
just
have
the
to
way he said,
wait.
didn't even say my name. He goes, "All right, well, here's your comedian." And he walks off.
That's a lot of
And
respect.
They walk off, and it is horrible, man. I walk off, and I go like this. I go, who do you think was the most famous magician that ever lived? Who gives a fuck? Bring on the band. CSN, CSN. And then they start banging on the chairs. CSN, CSN. And Margie says, my only thought at this point is, oh my God, I hope he doesn't think he's doing well. Right? She goes, it was horrible, man. And all my friends are there, and it's embarrassing. And they go, CSN, CSN. And the place is shaking. And finally, I just go like this. I go, listen, you fuckers, I only have to be here 20 minutes. If you don't shut the fuck up, I'm staying out 30, 40. Right? And then they got a little bit quiet, right? So I kind of got them a little bit at the end, but far by not a good show by any means. And I'd only been working with them for like 2 weeks. I walk off stage. I got my carpet bag in my hand. I'm like a beaten man. I walk off stage.
I think you're going to be fired, right?
Yeah, Crosby grabs me in a bear hug, and he pulls me close, and he goes, man, they fucking hated you. And I went, what? And he goes, oh, man, they really did. They fucking hated you. And and like, this was like a new gig. I didn't know them at that time. So I walk into my dressing room, and Graham Nash walks in and says, Johnny, listen, I really heard for you as an artist. He goes, you should never have to go through this bullshit anymore in your life. From now on, I introduce you. And he would come out every night and he'd go, "Hey, it's great to be here in Philadelphia. This is our favorite part of the tour. And we tell our manager, we're going to start this in Philly because it's a great town. But, David, Steve, and I aren't exactly ready to come out. So we're going to bring on a good friend of ours, a guy who put this, we found a couple of months ago. And we decided we want to make a permanent part of our show. So you better give him the respect he deserves. He's a good friend of mine. My good friend, John Ferrantino." And I'd walk out and he'd hug me and the crowd would be like, "This guy fucking knows them." It was like night and day.
Yeah,
It was night and day.
Of course.
It's
Yes,
just so
man,
crazy. It's
the way
just
somebody
so
intros
crazy.
you can fucking can make or break a.
I mean,
a show.
it really is amazing. I mean, it really is. Like, it's something you would never think about, unless you're in this business, I guess,
John,
ahead.
you reminded of a story. So I get a call from Rick Messina.
Right.
Said, "Hey, he said, I know you're in Kansas City, but they're auditioning for the Letterman show." He said, "And I
Right.
think it'd be perfect for it." He goes, "Why don't you come to Dangerfields tomorrow night?" So I fly up to Dangerfields, and they always let me stay in Rodney's apartment right next to it. They like me. So
Right.
I was in there. So I go out and I'm going to bring my drums, my little drum stuff that I do, because I can go, that's a unique angle for Letterman. So I go out, Bob Morton's sitting in the back, and he's sitting with Carol Leifer. And
Right.
and I start doing my stuff, and Carol's talking to Bob, Bob's talking to her. They're not even paying attention to me. Then they look at me and they're both pointing and they're laughing at me. They're not laughing with me.
You're not feeling
Right.
the love.
Yeah, and so I stop, and I look at him again, just like I did at Bowie State. And I said, "Bob, I can't believe this. Carol, I can't believe it. I flew up here to audition for the show, and you two are talking and being rude to me. Fuck you and fuck your show. Here's a quick impression of my dad, folks." And I went right.
So, did you get the show?
And Morton came up to me. Bob Morton came up to me after the show. He goes, "David, hey, I'm sorry. I just got to tell you, Letterman only likes point of view comics. He doesn't like any kind of prog comics. So if you get that stuff, I'll be glad to do it." And I'm going, and I start giving him a list of all the people that were on the show that didn't do that. And but that happens, that moment as a comic, like you said, John, where you're up there and you go, "You know what?
Oh,
This is all survival. I'm not going to let you guys do that." You just let them have it. And when you let them have it, that's when I become the funniest.
I had that shit like what John's a gig. I was open for Dice, and if you remember when Dice was huge, and his audience, they fucking same thing, man. And you go out and they're just yelling Dice, no matter what the fuck you do, it don't matter. And finally, like I said, I did like John. I said, "Listen, you fucking assholes," and they love this shit. I'm like, "You see this? I say, I'm the one. I introduced Dice. I say, if I don't introduce Dice, Dice ain't coming out. It's gonna be us. So either you shut the fuck up, let me finish my time, And the beautiful thing is, afterwards, fucking Dice took me aside and he was like, they're idiots, they're morons. He goes, march up and down and curse. They'll love you, and then bring me out for the next show. It's like, oh.
so I scared. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, although one of the most unique moments I've ever had, I as the only time I'm standing outside the green room, and Dice is back in the green room, and this girl comes up and she's wearing like a man's suit jacket and nothing underneath. And she comes up to me and it's dark and she opens up her jacket, shows me her tits, and she's like, "Do you think Dice would sign my?" And it's like, you talk about unique. And I went back. I said, I don't know, but I'll ask. So I went.
Yeah, let me see them again so I can figure it out.
Well, that's why. Yeah, I went back and I said to Dice, I said, "There's a chick out here. I want you to sign her." And he just fucking shook his head and he went, "Look," and he wouldn't come out. To his credit, he wouldn't come out. So I went back out and then I said, let me see those again. And I said, "Nah." And I told her, "No." I said, Dice isn't coming out."
Well, I scared
comic moments.
I scared the crap. This is a unique comic moment. I scared the crap out of David, which you won't remember this until I say it. He was in Dangerfields, and I think it was like his first time like in New York City, and he got in a cab, and he was like a little nervous. And I go to the cab driver, "Take him exactly where he's going. He's carrying a lot of cash."
Yes.
And all I see is the cab drive away, and this face like, "Oh." That's Andy
John,
Talbot.
it's weird. Another time I was at Dangerfields, I don't think it was that time, but I went over there and then I went up to stand up in New York, Carrie's place. Oh,
Right.
And I went over there and I left my wallet in the cab. I don't think it was that time, but I left my wallet in the cab in New York City. And 2 weeks later, it came in the mail.
With the cash in it.
No cash, but everything else was in it.
Yeah, there you go. I think New Yorkers will do that, and they'll take the cash and send, and they figure that's like my reward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my reward for doing the right thing.
I told Andy Talbot that story when I said that. I think he was there because that's like his favorite story. He always tells that story. I can still see David's face.
I was scared to death. I never. That was like the second.
You've never been to New York, I didn't think, right?
Yeah. Especially in a cab by myself. I'm a Midwest kid,
Well, see, and that's the weird thing is like it's like people around the country are either excited to get to New York or they're afraid of New York because it's and I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about the New York I grew up in, and when it was actually, it was kind of rough, and Times Square wasn't like Disney. It was entertaining, but in a different way. It was nothing but hookers and drug dealers and
Peep
Are you
shows.
kidding me? Are you
shows.
kidding me? First time I worked Caroline's, I went there, and then when I was married to Brenda, I said, "Come here." She goes, "Where we go?" And I go, "Look, we go to this one place." I go, "Put a quarter in there. You can watch people fuck for a quarter here."
I know.
Yeah, man. That's shit. That why do you think walking around with pockets full of corn? No, my favorite thing was the little shops. You could buy anything in Times Square. There was these little stores that would have the weirdest thing that you've never seen anywhere before in your life. And you could also get a fake ID there, but it would be like, there'd be like just the weirdest things just from all over the world. And it's just in these weird little curio shops in Times Square.
I remember, you remind me. I remember that when the second time I worked Dangerfields up there, and I'm doing my show, talking about being from the Midwest and just talking about that. And there's some guy, I think he was from Brooklyn, and he's just giving me all kinds of crap about being from the Midwest. And finally, I say to him, I said, "Hey man, you know what? You ought to come to the Midwest sometime." He went, "What the fuck would I want to come to the Midwest for?" I said, "I don't know, man. Maybe learn some manners."
From what, a cow? Cow gonna teach me fucking manners in the Midwest? Where the fuck is the Midwest? I know there's the West, there's the East. Where's the fucking middle of the West? I don't fucking.
Yeah, great moments on stage. I was working in New Mexico once, right? And this really good-looking guy
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
came walking in, right? And he was like 6'2", and he had a cowboy hat on, jeans with a big belt buckle, cowboy shirt, one of those long rider jackets.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits right,
Duster, man, I love those.
and he sits right in the front row. And I just stop and I look at him. I go, if a rodeo were to break out in here, you're the only one prepared. And it gets this huge laugh. And he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, man." He goes, "Come on, don't give me a hard time. I just came into town to see a show and get supplies."
Oh man!
I was like, I felt bad.
And the show he came to see was not a magic show or a comedy show.
But it was like he was legit. He was like a real cowboy.
I didn't come in for surprise.
He goes, "I just came in for a little entertainment and supplies."
Cowboy baby.
That's so funny. How much time we got there, Craig?
I think it's time for the 40 questions.
I think so too. I was gonna say that.
No, I'm just gonna say, do we have time for another?
You have a minute and 30 seconds.
All right.
Minute and
So I'm gonna
30
ask. I'll ask you guys a question. Okay. What is the only letter that doesn't appear in any U.S. name of a state?
Q.
That's it.
Correct.
You, huh? Hey, what do you?
All right. How many?
Hey, what do I win?
I'm going to answer them last. This way I'm always right.
How many years in your life do you think you'll spend looking at your phone?
4.
17.
Oh,
9.
9. Wow.
9 years looking at your phone.
9 years. How many years you spend in the toilet?
I don't know, but the next question says you poop out equivalent of an adult panda bear each year.
Wow. Wow. Ring that gay bell, man.
I don't even remember eating bamboo.
Great, but shouldn't that have been question number 2?
Ooh, I'll tell you, I feel light. I just crapped a panda. I feel great.
Who was that, John? Who was that guy that was on? Was that Dom Herrera, the hot steamy statue? He just
Oh, yeah.
one after another after another.
We're talking about that. I think it is all right to, in our country, we say, I got to go to the bathroom. We do not say, I have to heave a Havana, cop a loaf, drop a cobra.
Let's not do Dom's act on.
You know that you can't own a guinea pig in Switzerland
Because
because they say that they're too domesticated and it would be called animal abuse.
how about gerbils?
Yeah. As long as you don't put them in a pipe and shove it up your ass, you're okay.
There's a woman in Russia who holds the world record for the most prolific mother. She has 69 kids. And
if she would have turned around, she'd have one more.
if she had practiced 69, she wouldn't have had so many kids.
Good line.
She had 16 pairs of twins.
Whoa. 16 pairs of twins. I would double your pleasure. Double.
All right,
your
here's
fun.
another one for you.
Sew that thing shut, lady.
What is that Groucho line? When that woman had 12 kids on You Bet Your Life, and he goes, I like my cigar, but sometimes I take it out of my mouth.
reminds me when you guys ever heard this one about the English man just had his way with an English woman, and she said to him, she goes, "My sir, you have a very small organ." He said, "Madam, I may have a small organ, but it's never been asked to perform in a cathedral before."
Oh, shit.
All right, here we go. Kim Kardashian knows the alphabet and sign language.
She knows,
which
it.
is amazing
She
because
doesn't
her
know the
husband
fucking
does.
English alphabet.
It's funny because her husband doesn't know how to speak English.
Who's her husband?
Is that
She's
crazy?
No,
Yeah,
they
she just
she
got
split up.
divorced.
They got divorced. It was what's his fucking formerly known as douchebag, whatever. Now he's married again to someone else.
Cayenne. I never know his name. How do you say it first?
Cayenne Pepper West.
Cayenne Pepper West.
Oh, she was married to Kanye. That's right.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Who's a real stable force.
Yeah, he's another.
The Spanish national anthem has no words. Did you know that?
Yeah, and I don't care.
Here's
These are the more interesting questions John chose.
These are,
John,
all right,
Spanish.
this is
Hold on, John, let me put on the nose.
wait a second. The inventor of frisbee golf, when he died, asked his family to take his remains and have it molded into a frisbee.
I heard that.
Really?
Yep.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
That's cool because in a way you can stay part of the family because they can turn
And-
you over and
and-
use you as a serving tray.
And today, he's still on the roof of the house.
That's what
Yeah.
he says. He says, when we die, you don't go to purgatory. You shortly after passing, we either land up on a roof or just lie there.
He's been stuck.
And
in
the
a tree
inventor
for-
of the Pringles can was buried in a Pringles can.
Wow.
I hope
What
he
was
was
it?
cremated.
No, they sliced them and stacked them in
How would
cement,
they
like a
have gotten
symmetrical
it in there?
stack.
I'm gonna go back to the frisbee guy. Can you
Yeah.
imagine the guy that had his remains into a frisbee, and then somebody throws it, and his dog catches the frisbee in his mouth and goes, "This is fucking familiar."
So it says the inventor of Pringles was buried in a Pringles can.
Yeah.
In
A
slices.
coffee pioneer was buried in a coffee pot.
In a
These people
coffee
are
pot?
fucking- These people are
In a
nuts.
coffee pot, yeah.
How about the guy that invented the toilet?
I don't
Thomas
know.
Pepper.
It says bananas can reproduce.
Fuck them.
Fuck.
It says your
I'm not gonna have a
favorite yellow-
fucking banana getting laid more than me. Fuck bananas. No, go ahead, John.
Cavendish banana is the most popular variety of bananas that fills supermarkets and sits at Starbucks counters. Actually, infinite. It's seedless hybrid of two. To create new bananas,
Even
it
John
does
got bored. Even
naturally
John got
reproduce-
bored
I-
with it.
I
John got
know.
bored.
I am bored with that
And then-
one.
Yawning in the middle of
banana-
reading this shit.
Here we go.
And then the
Yard
bananas.
work killed 6,000 people in a decade.
Really? Wow.
Yard work?
Yeah.
I can see that. I was doing some yard work before I came on here. Fucking hoping to kill myself in the
The inventor of M&Ms is allergic to peanuts.
Well, who invented the that's M&M Mars, right? So who's that?
I
That
thought
was
it
the guy.
Marshall Mathers.
I saw a whole special on this thing. It's like there was I think Hershey was the first really big candy company, and then the guy named Mars, whatever, started M because he didn't get what he wanted from Hershey, ring the gay bell. But no. Then he started Eminem
But he
Mars.
did build
and
that highway, didn't he?
Yeah.
the Hershey Highway.
You have a sound effect for that highway, don't
Anyway,
you?
I'm getting like John now, and then the Hershey, and I forgot, man. What was I going to say?
I know. I was reading that. I'm going. This is going nowhere. All right. Women's tears reduce men's testosterone levels.
No shit. Fucking- they
Never bothered
reduced-
me.
Yeah, you want to lose a heart on, you lose it quick when she's crying.
Orgasms were once thought to cure hysteria.
They kill your thirst.
You know what I love about this show? We always end strong.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah. Yeah.
with
Hey,
with an-
Oh, here's a story about. All right, here's a story about. This is Let's Get Serious. How Mark Wahlberg has an extra nipple.
really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's-
They
He's
had
a
to put
Wahlberg.
That's why he has that song. Feel it, feel it.
Yeah, he's got a third nipple. He
does.
and that's why they had to put makeup on him for the Calvin Klein commercials. Yeah.
And we like to leave the audience with an important fact that'll change their life. The Cookie Monster's first name is Sid.
Sid Monster?
Sid Monster. Well,
Yeah.
geez. Wait. What were you telling me? You would tell me the name of you would now. You tried to tell me.
Oh, here we
about-
go. Here's a better one.
Yeah.
I hope so.
You know that. No.
The three
But
people
no,
left
it
listening.
reminds me. It reminds. We used to have our friend Joe on, and he did this mentalism effect. And Michael Carbonaro was on the show, and he does the whole thing, and he goes, "All right, I'm going to explain the whole thing to you because I don't want you to think I'm doing anything funny." And Michael goes, we weren't afraid of that." All right, so
That was
Captain
the out. That was the out.
Yes.
Captain Crunch is a fraud. Captain Crunch is a
Stop.
fraud.
Stop. Take that
Wait
back.
a minute.
Don't talk
He's
about
exaggerating his Navy service for decades. The character's actual name is Horito Magellan Crunch. Had to squeeze one more real name in there. Wears 3 stripes on his uniform cuffs, indicative of a commander, not a captain.
That's if I had a glove, I'd take it off and slap you right now and challenge you to a duel.
The first hot air balloon contained a sheep, a duck, and a rooster, and then they walked into a bar.
I'm telling you, you should have ended on Carbonero's line. You should have ended on Carbonero's line.
We never know
Wait.
when to get off.
We're going to circle back to our opening story. So that guy that was caught, the criminal, the murderer, he was
Pennsylvania-
caught by a police dog named Yoda.
Yoda. There you go.
Yeah.
Is he on the force?
The force was
hey,
with
the
him.
Force was
The
with
force
him.
was with him. Get it? The force was with him.
Yes, when criminals
That's almost
come-
a joke.
You know, guys, I just realized I watched 5 minutes on an open mic night.
Oh,
And not one of the good ones either.
Oh,
Oh.
come on. I didn't see anybody else jumping in with any wit to make those
Are you
bits
kidding me?
stronger.
Come on, how many of you went to open mic night just to sit there and laugh your ass
hey
off?
John. Hey
But-
John, that's coming from the guy with a fart thing in his hand
No.
and a red nose on.
Dude, he lost that 20 minutes ago, so those are real now.
Today's show is brought to you by Rockstar. I don't know.
Well, anyway, we've had some fun. We've had some laughs. So anyway, I sound like Johnny Carson. Well, anyway.
We've had some laughs, we've had some fun, and then Craig said some stuff. All right, let's go.
Craig, you look so miserable today.
I am actually.
Why?
I got my shingles shot yesterday, and it just knocked the shit out of me.
I went with the metal roof shot this year. Get it? Get it? I
I'm
got
going
my
out-
red nose on.
Hey, I'm going out today for my shiplap shot. Shiplap.
No, John, if you'd make that joke around, clowns would take your red nose from you right now.
Fucking slap you. They pull off a glove, slap you, and take the red nose. It's like the fucking mafia the clown mafia. Hey, don't ever fucking let me see you with a red nose on again, you cocksucker. Okay.
So, Craig, how long have you had shingles?
I haven't. I just got the vaccine,
Oh,
and he said, "Don't worry, there's no after effects." And I can't move my left arm, and I feel like total shit. And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess that's no after effects."
No, that's different. That's a stroke.
But I can't stroke. And
Are you
that's
Are you
I was
smelling
wa-
coffee?
I was wondering why the side of your face was drooping down.
I smell
Okay.
toast.
I smell toast and
Toast.
almonds.
That's all Mike says.
Toast.
Every time he goes, I just smell toast. I think I'm having a stroke. He goes, oh no, my wife's making toast.
Come on, that's what they say.
That,
By the
you
way,
know,
I have a resting bitch face too. You have to understand that.
Whatever that means.
I always look like I'm pissed when I'm not laughing.
well, are you?
No,
He's laughing right now on the inside.
not really. It hurts too much with the shingle shot.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, it's no game. I took all these vaccines, and I asked the doctor, "Is this going to knock me out for a couple of days?" Oh no, none of my patients. I'm like, fuck. It's not pleasant.
Who's your doctor?
Vinny Boom
Kevorkian.
Guys. Vinny Boom Guys.
Kevorkian.
Now one of
Kevorkian?
no,
Kevorkian.
Yeah. Hey, come here. Just shut up and breathe in the napkin. Just here. This will make you feel better forever.
Yeah, I go for that right now.
I thought one of you would either say Fauci or Vinny Boom Bots.
Hey,
Vinny
Dr.
Boom Bots.
Vinny Boom Bots.
Today's show brought to you by the COVID vaccine. No,
Vinny
I'm
Boom
going.
Bots.
They got a new freaking booster. You're gonna go get your You're gonna go get it. I'm getting.
They
a shot.
say it's not a booster. They say it's a vaccine now.
I'm not.
Then
gonna
I'm
get it.
getting
At
it
this
'cause-
point, I'd rather just get COVID.
Let me tell you, you don't want COVID, man. I had it whatever a month ago, whatever it was, and
Yeah, he
and
was really sick.
No, I
It
don't.
took-
I was
it
just trying to
took-
be
it
funny.
knocked
but
the
that's-
shit out of me. I
usually
wasn't that
do.
sick, but it was for almost a month. I felt like I'd been run over by a truck.
Maybe
You guys,
were.
you guys ought to talk to me about the stuff I've been taking for 2 years from a guy,
Viagra?
Dirk Pearson, about how to build your immune system. And you don't give a shit if you get that stuff or not, Mr. Healthy. Watch, I say that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna get it.
Tomorrow you'll be smelling toast.
Toast? Is that
Is that
toast?
toast, man?
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Oh, tomorrow I will be celebrating milk and honey because it's Rosh Hashanah, the Happy New Year.
Rush on
Happy New Year.
Roma. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's
it's-
actually last week. This is
That's right. I meant last
Wow.
week.
We
Yeah.
are we are bad. We are bad Jews. Bad Jew.
Speak for yourself.
I feel like I should put my hand out and
that
make
would
it
be a
stop.
sitcom.
Bad Jew. Bad Jew. No.
It should be a sitcom. Bad Jews. The opening scene is in actually in a deli, and they're having ham sandwiches.
There you
That
go.
would
Bad
be the
Jews,
opening.
bad Jews. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the ham comes for you?
Mike
Okay,
Reed.
get out of here. I'm kosher, motherfucker. Let me tell you something.
Are you drinking milk with that ham sandwich?
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I got the COVID, but it's kosher COVID.
Hold on. I'm going fishing for the mighty gefilte over here. Hey, all right.
And that was an out. That would have been the perfect out, Craig. Another out.
That is the out. That's it. We are out of here.
That's out.
We are out of here. Let's thank David Naster
Hey,
Hey,
thank you,
David, thanks for coming on.
and let's thank Craig Mitchell
Thank
Hey,
you for coming on.
uh,
I'll feel better next week, I think.
and the world's most intimidating Jew, Mike Grief.
hey, let me tell you something over here. All right.
And
And
I am
let me go. I wanted to. That's John. Ferentino.
and I am John Ferentino, and this is the Big Bad Broadcast. You can catch us anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can catch us on Apple. You can catch us on
Spotify.
Spotify.
Audible.
You can catch us on the podcast playground.
Audible.
You can catch us on Audible,
Google.
anywhere. Google.
Or you. And after you're done with this, you can listen to the You Just Have to Laugh broadcast with David.
Ah, that's right.
yes,
There
with
you
David
go.
Nestor.
All
That's
of you
it.
have been on it.
So if we
I was
make
on,
you
it was fun.
if we make you horny, then you can get off with David afterwards.